I don't know what your problem is with him. I want to know on this platform how and what happened that he blocked you. What path did you guys cross that he blocked you? And do you see what I'm seeing in these trends I just pointed out right now?
Emir Saddam, because you have asked this question, I would just want to say some things about it. Because on a normal day, I do not like to engage in personality discourse, especially when it does not have to do with figures who are government officials, public office holders, people who I am empowered to hold to account. If it is not them, I do not like to engage in it. Myself and Verydarkman, we have never followed each other. I wasn't following him, he wasn't following me. I just realized when people said, tag, you know, reach out to these people. So then I realized that, oh, this person has blocked you. So that was why I was just mentioning that. Look, let me be honest with you and ask you a question. What does Verydarkman do? What is his job? What does he do?
Well, they say he fights for the oppressed, for if they steal your property, your money. I'm giving you what Nigerians say. If they steal your money, he will go and fight and collect your money for you. He drags the untouchables. You know, in Nigerian society, we have the untouchables, the so-called untouchables. So he drags them. He does not hold bars. He calls out everybody. You know, that's the image that he portrays, right? And that's what I see. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really go deep into his content because most times when I saw this trend of like what happened in Plateau State, the Bokos killings, he now went to Bokos and said that the killings in Bokos is because of tin, that he's discovered tin on the floor.
On the floor.
And I grew up in Plateau State, so I was like, no, it is way more than the tins. I know that could be part of the reasons, but that is not the only reason why there's an ethnic cleansing going on in that place. Don't come and he changed that story. That was when I paid attention, because I know when people were saying and he got into the Mohbad Naira Marley's case and all of a sudden started asking for DNA for the Mohbad's wife and saying that Naira Marley is innocent, you know, despite we seeing videos of how much these guys molested Mohbad when Mohbad was alive. So when he did that, I now checked on cause that the Bokos one was what drew my attention. I was like, for real? Then I think there's what happened in the Chinese embassy also. When the Chinese embassy attacked someone, he went into the case and came out and said, you know, and I was like, you know, and where my final straw was when Tinubu, I think, came back, when Tinubu was about to open an embassy, I think wanted to work with the French to bring in the French military to Nigeria. And it was going loud, and all of a sudden, Verydarkman just came out from nowhere and said that all the 180 million naira that is in his account has disappeared. You know, the whole Nigerian attention now went on Verydarkman. Oh, they now came out and said it's a prank. And I was like, no, you can't be playing with the sensibility of what 200 million Nigerians are using us for crew. So that was when I sat down. I was like, if Tinubu is not using this guy yet, that means he doesn't know that he's being used either psychologically or he's a willing tool or vehicle to be used. Because if I'm Tinubu and I see someone, because I don't doubt the fact that he has a huge, humongous influence on so many young Nigerians. I can't take it away from him. If Verydarkman is news, that is the truth. He's news. So if he is news, a man that is political savvy like Tinubu can always see this guy that is news and
has political capital. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So that's me. I'm coming from the angle that maybe he does not even know that he's being used. I'm giving him the benefit of doubt. That is where I'm coming from.
Well, where I am coming from, and I have said it, Nigeria needs to work to fix our institutions to be able to work efficiently. Because the question we will ask is, if law enforcement is doing the job they ought to do you need private individuals to be acting as proxy police officers? Is that how it is supposed to be? If you talk about the case of Mohbad, that was a state case of alleged murder or whatever it is, or whether homicide. Under normal circumstances, when authorities, for example, even in the US, if the FBI is investigating a case of that magnitude, not even the US president is allowed to comment on an active investigation. But what happened in Nigeria is that private individuals were running concurrent investigations with what was going on with the state. People came out and were making postulations about how Mohbad's wife was a prostitute, how the child she has does not belong to him, and all of that. Nigerians need a strong figure to look at. Nigerians need somebody that they can call a champion. And because they do not have it in their leadership, when you see figures who are, and then again, there is something with the kind of making poverty look like a virtue. In Nigeria, if you want to be the friend of the poor, pretend to be poor and fight the rich. Try to bring people who, because rich, if you are rich, it is assumed that you are doing something wrong in a society where there is so much poverty and suffering. So anybody who stands as that stopgap to challenge those persons who we see as wealthy and doing wrong becomes the hero. Even when sometimes the person who is also even when sometimes that person is also looking for an opportunity to get to that class. And that is why when he sees people who help them to that class, they segregate the kind of wealthy people they can touch or talk about. So this person can be talked about and this person cannot be talked about. So in all of it, we must learn not to empower people that you cannot question, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that is the problem with Nigerians. No matter how much you love people, you should be able to disagree and tell them that this is wrong or this is wrong without it being malicious. So when you come out now and as you say that, no, this thing you said about Play 2, it may not be correct, it may be this way, and somebody will tag it, you are envious, you are hating.
Exactly.
Why should it be so? Why should we not be able to disagree without being disagreeable? So everything that Nigerians are doing, I, all honesty, am not a fan, because I know how that character was built. I know when it started and I know where it went. Whatever that they are doing, I am not a part of it, and I am okay to not be a part of it. So it is well with all of them. But as it comes to governance, if truly you are interested in fighting crime, you are interested in fighting whatever, then we should be interested in fixing bad governance. So if we are not addressing the problem from the root cause of it, and then you are talking about the symptoms, it then means you only, because there can be activists and sometimes there can be anarchists. Anarchists benefit from when there is confusion and issues, problems. They trade on them, they thrive on those kind of situations, because you need something to always strive on. But if you are honest about solving problems, it must be through the root cause of the problem. And my final submission is that time will test the motive of everything people do. What you are saying, what you are acting, your true intention and motive will be tested with time. So in all of this, I did not say directly what is this, and I did not say, but I'm sure you can add it up. But what I'm telling you is that when it comes to that character, I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan. I'm not ready to be a fan until I see that you align with the principles that I also share, and I have my rights to do so. So I'm watching whatever you're doing. The Lord be with you. Good luck with it, and it's okay. It is